Welcome. Welcome, one and all, to another Marcus Farrell Live. I am Marcus Farrell, 1/3 of the mighty clickbait political thirst trap family. If you are watching me here live on YouTube, TikTok, the Clickbaity channel, my Facebook page, and also Marcus Farrell Live on YouTube. We're going to get into it today. There's just so many topics from today, and I just want to start this thing off by just being very realistic about one thing, and that is the Trump administration does plan on using ICE as a way to steal the election in 2025 this November. If you think what we're seeing right now from this administration is a one-off, then you guys need to get prepared for what's really about to happen. Before we get into it, I do want everyone to just know that I am live right now on 3 different channels. If you want to support the channel, please feel free to do so. The link is in my bio. What we're going through today real quick: ICE operates as a gang, not as a law enforcement agency. The Minnesota killings of Renee Good, the second shooting, and Keith Porter Jr. Why is ICE a warning sign for November voter suppression? Homeland Security is going to be used as a political weapon. Republicans are losing seats and they know it. And this is because redistricting backfired. Panic has set in. Trump's public meltdowns are not random. They're tales that things are going on. Unknown but important how civic ignorance is being weaponized. And of course, my Black History Top 5. So let's get into it real quick. ICE is not tough. It's a gang. They're not tough. ICE needs to utilize gang tactics that they used to blame on Black and brown folks in inner cities to weaponize Trump's authoritarian agenda. They act like organized street gangs. Think about it. They're rolling deep. They're masked up. They're armed. They intimidate witnesses. They're harassing civilians. They escalate situations instead of de-escalating situations. And then they close ranks when violence happens. ICE is not a bunch of tough guys. I was wondering what happened to all the January 6th thugs, right? I was wondering what happened to all the January 6th thugs when Donald Trump pardoned them. Because you notice you hadn't seen them. And it's pretty hard to get a job after you stormed the White House. Stormed the Capitol. So I was wondering, where did these people go? Well, we know where they went now. They went directly into the pipeline that is ICE, and they got paid for it. We're talking about $60,000 to $70,000 bonuses for joining ICE and harassing civilians. ICE is a gang, and ICE is not a tough gang either. ICE is not a bunch of gangster people, right? Like, we need to understand that. These guys, they hide behind masks. They gang up on people. When we're thinking about Keith Porter Jr., when we're thinking about Renee Good, when we think about the young man, I'll get to his name in a second because we're going to talk about him, that was killed. He was killed, and they have backing of power. They are a gang with power. And what I'm concerned with, a lot of American citizens might not realize this morning, is that ICE is this right here, Minnesota, and immigrants and ICE as it stands right now, right? What y'all might not understand is this is preparation. This is preparation for subverting votes in November. They are practicing to keep Trump in power, and they're doing it the exact same way as the Gestapo did it. They're just not as organized as the Gestapo. The Gestapo, at least they had, proper messaging, talking points, right? And they were blatant about what they're doing. The Trump administration and ICE are lying consistently about the murders of people that we have on tape. So let's talk about these killings real quick. The killings and what we know and what we know and what we don't know. Renee Good is now officially a homicide. She was killed during an ICE operation. The federal narrative versus the community and eyewitness accounts don't align. The federal narrative is that she was trying to attack and run over an ICE agent, even though people who were there, and what we saw with our own lying ass eyes, obviously, what we saw was a woman that was trying to escape. But now the coroner's office has officially considered it a homicide. That's right. Renee Good's case is not a what the Trump administration wants it to be. Now it is an official homicide. Independent officials and civil rights voices say excessive force was used. We all saw that. She got shot in the head from point blank as she was trying to pull away from people. When the state kills someone, immediately tries to control the story, that is not justice. That's information warfare. And I think we all need to start getting prepared for more of this as escalation towards election day comes about. This is not a game, people. America has not ever seen what we are about to see right now when it comes down to election integrity, when it comes down to, we used to think it was just the sheriff's department. I used to work for New Georgia Project. We registered voters for a living. We were the people that actually put people on the ground to watch in real time whether people were interfering with elections or not. Cops and sheriffs in the state of Georgia used to do little sneaky stuff like put a sheriff's car in front of a polling location, right? Or put out the wrong information about a polling location. That was absolutely nothing in comparison to what ICE can do and probably will do. You're going to have more voter ID checks. You're going to have ICE agents standing outside of polling locations that are in Black and brown communities. We're about to see gang-style warfare under the auspice of democracy and protecting elections. They're not protecting elections, folks. They are protecting Donald J. Trump and his minions after they made the mistake of not being able to corrupt the voting lines because that backfired on them. is why civics education matters. ICE agents are trampling the rights of many, many, many Americans right now. And this is why school matters. Why am I saying that? How can you be an ICE agent? If you had civics 101, if there was a civics course 101 in America right now that was mandatory, and I believe it should be mandatory, where people understood the value of the Constitution. And I say this with a bit of pride and interest. I gotta wonder how many veterans are a part of ICE, because we take that oath seriously as a veteran. We take those oaths seriously as veterans. So you are running around now using foreign tactics that you shouldn't be using overseas, but you're using those tactics like American people are your enemy. At what point does shooting Renee Good, Keith Porter Jr., at what point does that keep immigrants or illegal immigrants or undocumented folks out of the country? At what point does policing American citizens who are doing their rights on a daily basis, they have their constitutional right to film law enforcement? That law has not changed. They have the constitutional right to bear arms. That has not changed. Now, the same folks who pandered to the Republicans who love the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms. Yes, it is live. I am live right now, man. The same people who tout the Second Amendment love to bear arms. You remember they were campaigning, we want our guns, don't take our guns. You remember Obama? You remember Obama wants to take our guns. This was the whole auspice of the Trump regime. This is how they got famous, was complaining that liberals wanted to take their guns. But when a liberal has a gun and exercising their constitutional right, now it's, oh, so why did he bring a gun to the protest? These are the same people that bring guns to Walmart to go shopping. They have guns in church. They're worried about the Jesus with the Jesus instead of Jesus. Makes me want to say Jesus. So the same exact, I saw that, Chris. The same exact people that used to beg, argue, fight at a high rate about carrying their guns, now they're using these talking points in the mainstream media, state regime media. That's why we're going to have to go and start looking at things like YouTube for our news, because we can no longer trust the Fox Newses of the world, the state regime medias of the world. You can't trust them. I'm sorry. At this point, anything conservative is bought, paid for by the Trump administration and whatever they want to say. And it's an utter shame what they're saying. They're literally causing a divide, and this is awesome because y'all deserve it. They're causing a divide in the Republican Party. And that divide was long coming, because one thing that Republicans, I'll give them, is that they are real big on some of these constitutional rights. And they're big on constitutional rights when it comes down to white people. Let's get that correct. They don't care about the constitutional rights of anybody who's not white and not conservative. But when they see the government, when they have eyes too, and when they see that this man was armed, but didn't even use his weapon. He was armed, didn't even pull out his weapon. And then he ended up getting killed, and then the excuse that he used. The excuse that these people actually have the gall to use right in front of our face is he was an agitator. He was going to attack them. He was a terrorist. And why did he have a gun at a protest? I thought you were allowed to have guns everywhere. So now there's a very big divide within the Republican Party, and that was a long time coming. But y'all deserved it. The Republican Party, you guys deserve that. Y'all deserve to have this rift. You deserve to have what's about to happen to you in November when your constituents who love taking their guns to church start complaining that, yeah, you guys are willing to kill people who carry their guns around if they get disagreed with. And even the Republican Party has a problem with that. I promise you this, the Trump administration is going to use ICE. The Trump administration is going to use ICE to subvert the November votes. They are facing the Democrats in the House and the Senate is facing the largest majority in modern history when it comes down to the election that can happen in November. Why? Because their attempts to redraw the district lines on a color and race basis failed miserably, and the states that did it right were blue states. Now we already are seeing massive gains that are going to happen for Democrats, whether you like Democrats or not. Democrats are going to have a supermajority that has almost never been seen in modern history. So you think the Trump administration doesn't see this? Absolutely, they see it. This is practice. What Allen Iverson said, practice? This is practice. This is unfortunate that the people have died from ICE, but this is practice. You think these same people that are willing to kill protesters aren't going to be willing to kill you when you go, take you out, pew pew you, when you go to the voting booth and vote against their Führer, the orange poopy pants, orange hair Führer? Yes, they will sit in front of those polling locations. This ain't nothing. This is practice. We are in for a long-term battle, American citizens, and I promise you this, the Trump administration is going to go out of their way to make it a point that ICE and anyone who goes against them will have to feel the wrath of ICE. But we got to resist because they're soft. They're a gang. They're a soft gang that has federal authority. These guys are not that tough. If you were tough, you would take off the mask. If you were tough, they would take off the mask. You're now rocking with Marcus Farrell live. Yeah, I am going to start going live at 8 o'clock, 8 a.m. every day, and I'm going to try to do an evening show. I'm figuring out the schedule right now, but I had too many thoughts on my mind, and the Clickbaity channel, Marcus Farrell live channel, and my Marcus Farrell Facebook page deserved to address this. If you've been following me, you know that I've said some statements about this right here, and it's not about even clicks. It's about we all have to fight in our individual way if you understand what's going on. Now, Black people have been fighting for years. So, like I said in my recent post, it's not that Black people are sitting at home scared or sitting at home like we don't care. It's just that we do this every year. We warned everybody already. Black men voted at 85% for Harris. Black women voted against Trump at 90%. We didn't do this. And when Trump got elected, the Black culture across the board was like, oh, yeah, so y'all don't know what's about to happen. See, here's this weird part about whiteness. No offense to my righteous white people, but here's a really weird thing about whiteness that we need to talk about real quick this morning before I continue with my news segment. Here's the ill part about whiteness. White people think that they're safe no matter what. White people thought that Trump was just going to, and might not be you, white person watching my channel, but there are white people in this country that voted for Trump thinking that, oh, well, he's only going to mess with Jose and Tyrone. But here's the problem. They got to go find Jose, and Tyrone ain't in the streets no more. Keisha ain't in the streets. Louisa, they're trying to find Louisa at work. And once they don't do that, so you got to understand, when black folks decided, nah, we're not going to protest this time. We protested with our votes. Yeah, I'm good. We're not going to go out there and mess up y'all protests. We're not going to be in mass numbers like we were for Black Lives Matter protests, for these new ICE protests. It's not because we don't care. It's because we know better. We want y'all protests to be successful. As soon as they see a multitude of black people at these current protests, it would have been people dead already. We're helping you help yourselves right now by staying home. We're also helping you because we want you to see what it's like being black in America. That's right. There are some people who will only react. That's the whiteness of America. There are some people who will only ever react to bad policy if they see white people being affected by it. Black folks been telling y'all cops and law enforcement been kicking our ass for years. Black folks been saying for years. Yeah, you know the police are kind of bad. Yeah, you know, Cap is kneeling for a reason. Yeah, you know, Black Lives Matter is not white lives don't matter. Oh, yeah. Now we get it. You don't care unless it's white people involved. Guess what? Trump is like, well, you got the right one. Because if I can't find no niggers and I can't find no Latins, then guess what? I'm coming after you. I've got to come after somebody because you must respect my authority. You must respect my authority. We got to do better, people, so black people are staying at home. White folks, this is the first time in modern history that y'all are seeing it like we see it. Now things can change. Yeah, now things will change. Because you can't be in America and treat white people. You can't be in America and treat white people like black people. Honey, yeah, honey, I don't like this much. I don't want to do a white man voice. White people be sounding like black people nowadays anyway. Let's get back into it real quick. This is why civics education is important. Where is your empathy, ICE? It's not American. ICE is not American. Can the left reclaim what American patriotism is real quick? Because it seems like compared to this administration, the Constitution is progressive. In the eyes of this current administration, that Constitution that the white men wrote years ago is a progressive document. Civics is so important right now. Civics 101 is so important right now. If they had empathy, if they cared about, if ICE agents cared about the Constitution and cared about really being American, they wouldn't even be in ICE right now. They damn sure wouldn't be shooting people who are exercising their American rights. ICE agents are trampling rights because too many Americans don't know what those rights are. No judicial warrants versus administrative warrants. First Amendment protections during protest. Fourth Amendment protections in homes. Due process versus just following orders. If Americans actually understood civics, ICE wouldn't be able to cosplay as untouchable warriors. But ignorance is their shield. Like I said before, ICE is a premonition for November. This is where it gets surgical. ICE's behavior is a dry run for election season suppression. Not ballots disappearing, not voting machines flipping, but fear. Federal presence near communities of color, security operations near civic spaces, DHS language about threat environments. I wonder where those are. Intimidation justified as public safety. And some of their tactics are going to work. That's why these elections in November, they're still going to fall on white people. Black people are going to turn out at high numbers, but white voters are going to have to make up their mind whether they want a fascist or not. Don't blame black people. Don't blame black women. Don't blame black men. I know a lot of folks want to blame black men like, oh, 15% voted for Trump. We still voted 85%. That's more than any other demographic of people for anti-Trump, for Harris. 85% of black male voters. So don't blame black men. There shouldn't even be a conversation. Go talk to them white men. Go talk to those white women. It's on y'all. It's y'all that need to make your mind up whether you like fascism or not. Or is comfort more important than life? Are you deciding to vote for what your perceived white power was? Because if that's the case, Trump is showing you in real time that they don't give a damn about your color. They only care about billionaires protecting the interests of their friends. Gas prices, food prices, tariff wars across the board. And some of y'all will still go and vote for Trump. Whew. They don't need to stop everybody from voting. They just need to make enough people scared to stay at home, and that's on them. The only people that can go out in these streets on a consistent basis without being messed with, my friends, that's you white folks. White people, this one is on you. We need y'all to step it up in November. Homeland Security as a power tool. Homeland Security was built for terrorism prevention, but now it's being used as political control. Immigration enforcement, protest suppression, federalized policing, and surveillance normalization. This isn't national security. This is regime security. Family, did you know? Were you born and then expected all of a sudden to be a part of an America that was ran by a regime? America is the richest third world country in history right now. America is the richest third world country in history. Don't take off anywhere. You're now rocking with Marcus Farrell live. If you are watching me on YouTube, feel free to send me a super chat, especially if you are on the Clickbaity Political Thirst Trap family. If you are on Facebook, man, hey, man, thank you guys for watching. Please share this out. If you like it, you hear what I'm saying, please share this out. If you're on Facebook, you can follow me on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and the mighty Clickbaity Political Thirst Trap family. We are going through ICE and why I believe that ICE is going to try to stop us from voting in November. We think this is about immigrants. This is not about just immigrants. It is about immigrants. But this is not just about immigration. This is about practice for the violence that might happen in November, and that violence won't be coming from the left. The violence won't even be coming from the right. The violence is going to come from this administration, and they are showing you in real time how they act. They are literally telling American citizens on a consistent basis, do not believe your lying ass eyes. We saw the killing of two people in Minnesota, 2 white people at that. I don't think the Trump administration realizes that when you mess with American white people, they don't like that much. They think we don't like it either, but when the last thing that they want to do is unify America against them, and that's exactly what we're doing. Because black folks are sitting back watching like, yeah, we told you. We know. We've seen that. But it didn't affect white America. Now you see Renee Good. What is the nurse's name? Squirrel Gang in the house. All of this is because redistricting backfired. All of it's going to happen because redistricting backfired. Trump is probably like, well, I gave y'all an easy way out. I was trying to rig it just a nice way. I was trying to rig the November elections the nice way. I was trying to do it the right way, but you meddling Democrats in these Democratic states, y'all just decided that you were going to do the same. How dare you guys try to do the same thing that I had planned for you? Alex Preddy, that's it. Thank you very much. How dare you guys? How dare you guys do what we had planned for you? And not only did we do it, we did it better. The left, Democrats, ended up doing things the right way. And now Texas, the biggest state that they were supposed to get the most seats from, they risk to actually lose Republican seats now. California, y'all know what's going on with Gavin. Gavin's out there like, hey, yeah, you know what? We're going to have about 5 to 6. Virginia just told their two state senators, y'all need to fall back. Y'all need to fall back. We got this. And Virginia is making a plan to go 10-1. They are redistricting so the Republicans in Virginia are only going to have 1 congressional seat. My God, it backfired so hardcore on the Republican Party. And Trump sees this. And Trump knows this. Therefore, Trump needs to do something about it. And what y'all don't understand is that what we're watching in real time is his army, his soldiers, the thing that he has control over, practicing for November. Practicing for November. They tried to lock power in with maps. The courts pushed back. Public scrutiny increased. Organizers adapted. Voters got smarter. When cheating fails, authoritarians escalate. That's history. Every single time cheating fails, authoritarians escalate. And you want to know why I came up with this and why we are feeling this way? Is because Trump's meltdowns are tells. Trump's public behavior lately has been like a close to 80-year-old toddler. His erratic language, his obsessive grievances, his obsessive Truth Social post, him repeating false victories. He got schooled by Gavin Newsom at Davos in front of the world. World leaders are behind his back on camera talking cash money-ish about him to his face. Well, not to his face, but behind his back. We can only imagine what Trump has embarrassed America in the world. I'm not even worried about the military power. I'm talking about how the world looks at us as educated people. Like, I thought y'all had Harvard over there. I thought y'all had FAMU and Howard over there. I thought y'all had Yale over there. Y'all voted in this idiot? Yeah, the world is looking at us like, man, I don't know if I want to send my kids over there right now. And they're right. The Supreme Court actually shot down the provision that Trump could just deport foreign students for no reason, right? Like, so like these courts are actually, and these are Republicans. These are people that Bush Sr. and Trump put in. These are conservative Republican conservative judges that are even like, I can't even go as far as you want me to, because Trump expects loyalty over the Constitution. Trump is watching his control slip. It is what it is. He's watching his control slip. The top 5 times state violence spiked before power shifted. And I just want to say this. The Reconstruction backlash. Violence rose as Black political power grew. Red Summer 1919. Lynching surged after Black World War II veterans returned. COINTELPRO in the 1960s. Federal repression escalated as movements unified. Apartheid South Africa in the 1980s. State violence increased before its collapse. Civil rights era, police brutality spiked before landmark laws were passed. When the system gets violent, it's because it is losing. And I know a lot of people out there are sad and scared and worried about the Trump administration and pissed off. Especially you newly found white folks that just realized that Trump is bad. And just because you're white does not mean that you are safe. Shout out to you folks. I mean that. Shout out to you guys for learning in real time. But they are escalating because they are losing, family. Don't get it twisted. You see the killings. You see the shootings. You see ICE roaming the streets, arresting random Black American people who've never left the country in their life. Immigration enforcement is targeting anybody that looks non-white, and they're killing white people. I said it. The word killing, that's what happened. I know the algorithm might not pick that one up, but that's what happened. ICE is not tough, man. They move like a game. See, tough is restraint. Tough is professionalism under pressure. What ICE is doing is dominance under theater, numbers, weapons, intimidation, control of the narrative. Gangs claim territory, right? Throughout the history, I'm talking about whether it's the mob or the so-called mob. Don't come after me. Or the Bloods, Crips, Vice Lords. Gangs claim territory. ICE metro surges look like territory behavior. They saturate an area, flood it with armed bodies, and make it normal to feel unsafe. Gangs punish witnesses. Reports around Minnesota indicate bystanders and witnesses are being detained and the state complaining about federal non-cooperation. It's the classic, you didn't see nothing here energy. Gangs demand tribute. Think about it. Gangs demand tribute. Bondi's letter to hand over the voter rolls and welfare data, repeal sanctuary policies, or else, and that's the only way that we'll remove ICE from your state, is a tribute. That's not democracy, man. That's coercion. This is what happens when the state treats communities as suspect zones instead of constituencies. Black folks, we've seen this before. America, over policing, narrative control, immunity. That sound familiar? Anybody who's over the age of 30 years old, does that sound like the last damn near 15 years of America? Doesn't ICE just eerily remind you of everything that we've been arguing about for the past 15, 20 years? If we had created a culture that listened to us back then guess what? ICE wouldn't be running free right now. But America only reacts when white people start getting fucked with. And I am not a fan of that, but let's keep it real. Let's keep it real. ICE is only getting protested and talked about at the highest scrutiny that it is right now because Renee Good, because Alex Pretty were killed on camera. But the only thing I want to bring up is when George Floyd had a knee put on him, there wasn't no universal call for defunding the police. At some point, I remember 20 years ago almost saying defund ICE 20 years ago. We were called extremists. We were called, oh, you can't go that far. The same thing that they did with reforming police departments. And so I'll say it once, and I'll say it, and I don't mean it in a negative way, but ICE is to white people what police is to black people. Officer friendly and officer ICE official are the same thing to us right now. We're going to go over the killings real quick. Renee Nicole Good, Minneapolis, January 7th, the ICE agent fatally shot Renee Nicole Good during the operation. Video disputes evidence, key evidence and key parts of the official justification, according to multiple reports. And the DOJ said it found no basis for a civil rights probe, setting off outrage and resignations. When the video contradicts the bad story and the system still closes ranks, that's not justice, that's policy. Alex Jeffrey Pretty, Minneapolis, January 24th. Pretty, a 37-year-old nurse, ER nurse, and they are gangster in themselves. ER nurses are harder than ICE agents, okay? You work in the ER and you're saving lives. You are a gangster human being for real. Was killed by federal agents. Multiple videos show him pinned down and holding a phone, contradicting the early government claims about him threatening agents. They shot a man holding a phone, then tried to sell America a bedtime story right in front of our face, family. Keith Porter Jr., a black man, 43-year-old black father, was killed by an off-duty ICE agent in Northridge, California. Family and advocates are demanding transparency in charges. Reporting court documents have pointed to the agent's identity, Brian Palacios, through filings. Different city, same playbook, kill first, withhold details, smear later. A couple of things you might not know about these situations. The NRA contradiction angle. If even the NRA crowd is disturbed by a federal shooting narrative, as reported by broader coverage, it shows how extreme the administration's stance is becoming. The data hostage angle. Look, Bondi's letter is effectively to give us the voter files plus welfare data plus policy changes, and we will consider de-escalation of federal force. They are literally at war with Minnesota. The civic collapse. This moment is the clearest proof that America doesn't understand the difference between administrative versus judicial warrants, federal versus local justification, jurisdiction, and enforcement versus constitutional rights. You can say what you want to say. You can think what you want to think. But I tell you what, if you are not upset about what's going on, and I'm making this statement to my white friends, white folks who are watching, believe it or not, you started this mess. You started it. You need to finish it. We got your back. We're not saying we're going to just all stay at home. But we've been telling y'all this for years, that if they come after us, eventually they'll come after you. So now that it's happening, act accordingly. This is Marcus Farrell Live. Follow me, subscribe to the channel on YouTube. Thank you for watching me this morning. I appreciate everybody for joining me. I will be doing this a little bit more consistently. I got some other things to do in life. You can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, even though I'm trying to stay the hell away from TikTok because TikTok is problematic right now. I appreciate everybody for joining me. Thanks a lot. Peace.